It's 7:42 a.m. on the 18th of October 2025. In the South China Sea near Thitu Island, the USS Halsey suddenly picks up a faint radar echo. Another one follows, then a third. Alarms erupt across the deck. Sailors sprint to their stations, eyes locked on glowing screens. Outside, the ocean is calm, but tension crackles in the air. 3 U.S. destroyers, Halsey, Benfold, and Ralph Johnson, form a tight escort wall. Ahead, a Chinese Coast Guard ship, CCG 5203, holds its ground, bow pointed directly at them. The sea between them feels razor thin, a line neither side dares to cross. Radios buzz. Orders clash in English and Mandarin. Through binoculars, crewmen spot the Philippine patrol ship Cobra keeping distance, watching nervously. The moment stretches steel against steel, silence against pride. One wrong move, and the calm water could turn into a battlefield. The South China Sea isn't just water, it's one of the busiest lifelines on Earth. Every container ship, every tanker here keeps stores stocked and factories running back home. The USS Halsey and her sister ships aren't just patrolling, they're guarding that flow, making sure it stays free for everyone. But today, that mission runs straight into Beijing's claims. China's Coast Guard vessel CCG 5203 refuses to yield, calling the area its own. On the American bridge, commanders know one misstep could light up headlines and spark a chain reaction neither side wants. To port, the Philippine patrol ship Cobra keeps its distance, its crew recording every second. For Manila, this is more than a standoff, it's proof of who really controls these waters. For Washington, it's a test of credibility. The U.S. has pledged to defend the freedom to sail here, a promise etched into treaties and trust. Behind the calm voice on the net sits a stack of law and promises. This transit is a freedom of navigation operation, a public way of saying no map can shrink the sea. Manila holds the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty close. An attack on its ships could pull in the U.S. Beijing signals resolve too, ramping patrols around Fiery Cross Reef. Pressure builds in quiet steps, posture, wording. Distance, each one a move on a loaded chessboard. The radio chatter thickens. Both sides hold their course, tension humming through steel. No shots yet, but the line between peace and provocation is paper thin. The horizon feels smaller, the air heavier. Somewhere on the bridge, a sailor whispers, "One mistake and it's all over." If you were here, staring at that line of ships, would you want them to stand firm or pull back? Hit 1 for hold the line, or 9 if you think it's time to ease off. Let's see where you stand. 15 minutes since first contact. The USS Halsey steadies her course, radar screens glowing brighter as the Chinese cutter CCG 5203 shifts closer, cutting across the American formation. The ocean, once open and endless, now feels like a narrow ring of blue steel. Orders fly. Maintain bearing. Do not yield. From the bridge, the sea looks calm, but the crew can feel the tension like static under their skin. A warning horn blares. The Chinese vessel answers with one of its own. Across the water, loudspeakers bark in Mandarin and English, each side demanding the other to leave. No one moves. The Benfold inches to starboard, covering the Cobra, which now stands nearly dead in the water. Through binoculars, sailors can see the white hull of CCG 5203 gleaming in the sun, its crew lined up on deck, cameras rolling ready to broadcast every second to the world. The Americans hold formation. 3 destroyers, like sentinels guarding an invisible line. Keep your distance, the captain warns. No sudden moves. Then, without warning, the Chinese ship guns its engines, swinging across the bow of Halsey at less than 100 yards. Metal groans, waves crash, and every sailor's heartbeat spikes. The bridge falls silent, every second feels stretched thin. A single order breaks the tension. Sound general quarters. Sirens wail. The crew locks down hatches and powers up defensive systems. No one expects a missile, but nobody rules it out either. The Ralph Johnson moves wide to cover the flank. Radar arrays sweeping for hidden drones or fast boats. In the distance, a Chinese Type 818 support vessel appears, amplifying the standoff. The sea churns between them, a wall of noise, engines, and adrenaline. One slip, one misread maneuver, and this turns from a contest of wills into an international crisis. On the Cabra, Filipino sailors film everything, knowing it could decide the next headline or the next treaty. Back on Halsey, the captain watches the horizon, his voice low but steady. "We're here to keep the sea open. Nobody fires unless fired upon." But as the ships circle, bows cutting closer each pass, that line, "unless fired upon," starts to sound more fragile than ever. 8:09 a.m. The standoff drags on. Engines rumble, metal hums, and every second feels like it's leaning toward disaster. The USS Halsey adjusts 2 degrees starboard, a small move to widen spacing, but the CCG 5203 mirrors it instantly. A game of shadows begins. Both captains know exactly what the other is doing. Testing nerve, reading intent, waiting for someone to blink first. The radar officer reports a fast blip. A Chinese Type 818 drone lifting off from behind the cutter. It hovers low, circling the formation like a hawk. Possible surveillance, someone mutters. The US ships jam its signal, freezing it mid-air before it darts away. A small victory, but one that tightens the mood even more. On the Philippine Cabra, crew brace as waves grow rougher. Their radios crackle with overlapping orders: English, Tagalog, Mandarin, a jumble showing just how close this is to spinning out of control. One wrong word, one wrong turn, and history shifts. The bridge on Halsey glows red from battle lighting. The captain studies the radar, 2 more Chinese ships closing from the west. "We stay put," he says. "If we move, we concede the line." His crew nods silently, the weight of unseen eyes pressing down. Outside, tension has a sound, the deep pulse of engines, the slap of waves, the grind of steel. Above, the sky is cruelly peaceful, unaware that one flare could light up the sea. Then a subtle change. Halsey eases speed to steady her angle. The CCG 5203 edges closer, hose gear visible on the deck. A petty officer calls out the water cannon is swiveling. It's not a gun, but it's a message. Benfold shifts slightly to cover the flank. Ralph Johnson widens her arc, forming a balanced triangle of defense. Every motion becomes language measured, silent and dangerously loud. A thin mist bursts from the cutter's nozzle, a probing sweep that never quite crosses the line. Shields go up on the Cabra. Cameras zoom tight. On Halsey, sailors clip in at the rails, helmets buckled, eyes forward. The sea smells of fuel and salt and tension. Nobody fires. Everyone calculates what tomorrow's headline will say, and who will own the narrative if this moment tilts. If you were in command right now, would you hold that line or call it off before it breaks? Drop your take in the comments. 1 for stand your ground, 9 for back away before it's too late. 8:22 a.m. For a moment, everything holds: the ships, the sea, even the air. Then the unexpected happens. A second Chinese cutter, hull number 5204, bursts onto the scene from the south, cutting across the Cabra's path at speed. A sudden roar of water follows twin high-pressure cannons firing in arcs, slamming into the waves just meters from the Filipino ship. The spray rises like smoke. The message is clear: step back or get hit next. On Halsey's bridge, alarms spike again. The U.S. destroyers shift formation, the Benfold moving ahead to shield the Cabra. The sea between them explodes with foam and noise. "Maintain restraint," the captain orders, his voice tight but calm. "Record everything. Cameras roll. Radar locks. Every move logged for the inevitable diplomatic storm." CCG 5203 and 5204 now work in tandem, their maneuvers sharp and aggressive. One blocks the Halsey's bow, the other swings wide to flank the smaller ally. The U.S. destroyers respond with precision, engines throttling, hulls turning just enough to keep distance while asserting control. It's a dance of dominance at 20 knots. No shots fired, but every pass more dangerous than the last. The drone returns low and fast, skimming the surface like a silver dart. It dives between wakes, vanishing under radar for seconds at a time. "They're testing us," says a sensor tech. The captain nods. "Let them test. We hold the line." The crew braces as the drone reappears closer this time, circling the bow before speeding toward the horizon. No attack, just another reminder that this game has changed. The weapons aren't only guns anymore. They're signals, drones, pressure, and fear, all fired in silence. 8:31 a.m. The sea erupts into chaos. The CCG 5204 cuts hard across Benfold's bow, spraying water in a wide arc that slams against the destroyer's hull. Alarms blare. "Hold position!" The captain yells. Halsey turns 10 degrees to port, forming a barrier between the Chinese cutters and the Cabra. Engines thunder. Radios erupt in overlapping voices. English, Mandarin, Tagalog. A storm of tension. The drone dives again, streaking across the formation barely 50 feet above the water. Its reflection flashes on the bridge glass. "Lock it," a tech calls out. Targeting systems hum, but the captain raises a hand. "Negative fire. They want us to react." Seconds stretch. The drone buzzes the Ralph Johnson's mast, then veers away into the glare. Across the horizon, the Chinese cutters regroup, their water cannons firing wide streams meant to blind, not harm. The Cabra takes a hit of spray across her bridge, her flag whipping wildly in the mist. Filipino sailors cheer defiantly, filming through soaked windows. Halsey surges forward, close enough for crewmen to see faces on the opposing deck. One officer on the Chinese cutter signals back a slow hand across the throat, half threat, half theater. "Steady," the captain warns. Cameras are rolling everywhere. Then silence sudden, eerie. Engines idle. Both sides wait for someone, anyone, to move. Spray drips from steel. Radios fall quiet except for static. For a moment, the entire South China Sea seems to hold its breath. And then the shift. The Chinese ships back off, slow, deliberate, fading into haze. Cheers erupt aboard the Cabra. Halsey's bridge exhales as if surfacing from deep water. They held the line. No shots, no war, but the edge was razor thin. Damage reports come in. Scuffed paint, bent railings, drenched antennas, cosmetic, not crippling. Logs are sealed. Footage sent to Manila and Washington. On the net, a calm voice cites treaties. Another warns patrols near Fiery Cross are rising. The drone vanishes, but its wake lingers invisible, political. The crew wipes salt from their eyes, waiting for the next call. Because in this sea, there's always a next call. If you think this calm will last, hit 1 to say, "The line holds." If you believe the next encounter will cross it, press 9. Let's see where you stand. By noon, the South China Sea looks calm again, but it's the kind of calm that hums with memory. The USS Halsey, Benfold, and Ralph Johnson hold steady near Thitu Island, decks slick with salt and silence. The Philippine Cabra drifts nearby, her crew waving toward the destroyers, not in celebration, but recognition. They know this isn't the end. It's another chapter in a story that keeps circling back. In Washington, reports flow fast. Officials praise the restraint, calling it proof that discipline still beats provocation. In Beijing, state media hails the firm defense of sovereignty. Both sides claim success. The truth floats somewhere in the spray between them. A line drawn on water, shifting with every wave. Engineers check hulls, crews rest, but no one relaxes. Every sailor knows this quiet is borrowed time. The sea is wide, but each encounter shrinks it one maneuver, one pass, one warning at a time. Drones will return, cutters will shadow, and another flashpoint waits just beyond radar range. For the Philippines, the Cabra's footage spreads fast, a drenched patrol ship standing against giants. In Manila, people cheer. In Washington, analysts replay every second, reading motion and tone like coded intent. The footage becomes more than record, it becomes strategy. Night slides across the Spratlys. On Halsey's bridge, the captain studies the horizon. No shots, no losses, but the game's not over. His crew nods, knowing silence isn't safety, only pause. The world may call it a victory of restraint, but the sea remembers tension, not treaties. And somewhere beneath the waves, that tension waits patient, cold, inevitable. If you believe this fragile piece can hold, hit 1 to stand with calm. If you think the next clash is coming soon, press 9 and let's see where you stand before the next storm breaks. It's 5:42 on the 14th of July 2025. In the South China Sea, near Hainan Island, the U.S. carrier USS Ronald Reagan snaps to full alert as multiple unknown tracks bloom on the scope. Alarms rip through the ship, sailors sprint to battle stations, watertight doors slam, red light floods the passageways. Outside, the horizon flashes 5 Chinese YJ-21 anti-ship missiles already inbound, low clouds lit like lightning. The carrier's escorts, USS Halsey and USS Rafael Peralta, spin up SM-6 and ESSM. CIWS mounts wind to life. On the flight deck, a Super Hornet burns, deck crews fighting flames as another jet claws for the sky. An E-2D Hawkeye, damaged but stubborn, prepares to launch. The sea heaves, the Aegis plots a storm of tracks, missiles, drones, something underwater. Viper 1 cleared hot, crackles the radio. The next 90 seconds decide everything. Keep the Reagan afloat, or watch steel, fire, and thousands of lives slide under the waves. No speeches, no time, just metal, speed, and a wall of flame racing straight at them. The South China Sea is no empty stretch of water. Every day, tankers and cargo ships pass through these lanes, carrying the fuel, food, and electronics that keep homes and businesses alive thousands of miles away. Protecting that flow is the job of the U.S. Carrier Strike Group, centered on USS Ronald Reagan. Their presence tells allies, trade will keep moving, seas will stay open, and America will not back down. But across the horizon, China has been preparing. Bases on Hainan bristle with launchers. H-6 Kelvin's bombers circle above, ready to drop new waves of YJ-21 hypersonic missiles. Silent below the waves, a Type 093 attack submarine lines up torpedoes. For Beijing, the goal is simple: break the USN, shield, prove the waters are theirs, and show the world that even America's biggest ships can bleed. The stakes could not be higher. If Reagan falls, it's not just one ship. It means lost lives, billions in damage, and a signal to allies that U.S. power is not guaranteed. It means trade routes strangled, prices rising, and trust collapsing. For Washington, holding the line here is about more than steel and sailors. It's about the credibility of the entire Pacific Alliance. Allies are watching closely. In Tokyo, Manila, and Canberra, phones light up as teams track satellite cues and reconnaissance feeds. Shipowners call insurers. Rates climb with every plume on the water. Southeast Asian ports wait nervously, wondering whose rules will govern the next shipment. If the U.S. holds, partners gain time. If it falters, maps shift overnight, and every convoy that follows will sail with fear. In moments like this, the fight is no longer distant strategy. It's survival, and the question spreads beyond the ships. Which side do you think holds the advantage in this clash? Press 1 for the US or 9 for China, and subscribe to follow the next move. 5:44. Just 2 minutes after the first alarm, the Reagan's Combat Information Center is a blur of voices. Radar operators count 5 YJ-21 hypersonic missiles closing in fast. Their arcs slash across the digital map like knives. Weapons free, comes the order. USS Halsey launches a spread of SM-6 interceptors, long white streaks leaping from her vertical launch cells. Each interceptor is designed to climb high and meet the incoming missile head-on, speed against speed. Seconds later, the USS Rafael Peralta joins in, firing both SM-6 and ESSM for mid-range defense. Her Aegis system plots every path, broadcasting firing solutions to the rest of the strike group. On deck, sailors brace as the roar of close-in weapons begins. The Phalanx CIWS mounts Gatling guns with radar eyes spin up to full speed, their barrels glowing as they prepare for the last line of defense. The first wave collides in midair. 2 YJ-21 explode in brilliant fireballs, intercepted at altitude. But 3 keep racing forward faster than sound, their plasma trails scarring the horizon. The Reagan swerves slightly, her massive frame heaving through the water to narrow its profile. Every second matters. The ship needs angles that give defensive guns a chance. Above, a pair of FA-18EF Super Hornets scramble. One climbs hard, hunting Chinese drones with sidewinders. The other, callsign Viper 1, dives low, JDAM bombs slung under its wings. Its target, the very launchers on Hainan Island. If they can hit those sites, the next missile wave might never come. Meanwhile, an E-2D Hawkeye claws into the sky despite damage. Its radar dish spins, feeding target tracks to every US ship in range. Picture clean on the left, clutter on the right. The crew calls, meaning some threats are gone, but more slip through. In the dark sea below, sonar screens light up, a torpedo in the water. The Type 093 submarine has joined the battle. USS Halsey deploys countermeasures, decoys streaming aft, as sailors feel the tension of metal hunting metal beneath them. Explosions flash across the horizon, thunder rolling over the strike group. Missiles burst, flares drop, countermeasures scatter like fireflies. And yet, the incoming line does not break completely. 2 YJ-21 remain, plunging toward the Reagan with seconds to impact. 5:47. The sky is crowded now. Beyond the hypersonic missiles, another wave emerges. Stealthy GJ-11 Sharpsword drones, skimming low over the water. Their radar signature is faint, almost ghost-like. USS Halsey tracks several, launching ESSM to intercept. Some drones go down in fireballs, but others slip past. The crew braces. These machines are programmed to hit radar arrays and flight decks, the ship's eyes and ears. On Reagan, damage control teams race to contain fires left by missile debris. Smoke fills compartments. A Super Hornet sits crippled on the deck, blackened by flames, while deck crews clear space for others to launch. Every second counts. If the runway clogs, the carrier's air wing cannot strike back. The Rafael Peralta shifts tactics, launching ASROC anti-submarine rockets. Each one arcs high before splashing down, delivering a torpedo that hunts the Chinese submarine lurking below. The sonar room crackles with pings. The enemy boat is still out there, silent and patient, waiting for its kill shot. Guns thunder as CIWS bursts light up the night. Several drones explode, but not all. One manages to dive and crash its warhead into Reagan's forward radar dome. Sparks and fragments scatter across the deck. The carrier's vision blinks, but doesn't go dark. Partial capability remains. The E-2D Hawkeye in the air takes over, extending the eyes of the fleet. Pressure mounts. The enemy attacks from every domain: air, surface, and undersea. Sailors tighten grips on consoles. The ship heaves into another turn, presenting a smaller target to the next volley. Commanders know. One gap, one slip, and the enemy gets through. On shore, Viper 1 calls bombs away. 2 JDAM walk across a mobile launcher site. Secondary blasts ripple through fuel drums, but new tracks still rise from deeper inside Hainan. At sea, a U-6 torpedo chases Halsey's wake. A tow decoy drags it wide, a dull thump quaking the hull. Aegis keeps fighting, degraded but steady, stitching the air picture together one fragile thread at a time. This is no longer just defense, it's survival under constant fire. And it raises the clash to the audience too. In this moment of drones versus steel, do you believe the US can hold, or China will break through? Press 1 for the US or 9 for China, and subscribe to see how this battle unfolds. 5:52. Just when US crews think the line is holding, a new alarm cuts through the noise. Low altitude contacts, multiple, fast. This isn't drones. It's sea-skimming missiles, fired in pairs from mobile launchers hidden along the Hainan coast. Smaller than YJ-21 but harder to spot, they fly only meters above the water, radar barely catching them in time. The escorts pivot fast. Halsey angles sensors down, pushing Aegis to the limit. ESSM streak out, chasing shapes hugging the sea. Rafael Peralta, still tracking a submarine, spins her CIWS toward the new threat. Gun crews sweat, ears ringing from non-stop fire, eyes straining to catch blips that appear almost too late. This is the nightmare. Layered attacks from above, below, and now surface level. Decision time shrinks to seconds. If even one missile punches through, Reagan could take a crippling hit near the waterline. Vampires inbound, 30 seconds. Echoes inside Reagan. The carrier lurches into another hard turn, metal groaning. Damage control team stand ready, hoses charged, eyes on likely impact zones. The commander calls for electronic warfare. Jammers light up. False echoes scatter across radar. Decoys inflate and splash behind the carrier. Anything to buy time. Within miles, a missile skims closer. Phalanx CIWS roars, streams of tracers crossing the dark. The shape erupts into fragments, splashing harmlessly short. Reagan lives this time, but the twist is clear. The enemy adapts, layering threats faster than defenses can reset. Each wave drains more ammo, more focus, more breath. The fight is only tightening. 5:58. The last wave arrives. From the horizon, 2 remaining YJ-21 dive steeply while more sea skimmers surge in low. The Reagan's escorts are running hot, magazines thinning, crews exhausted, sensors strained. Every weapon now is committed. Halsey launches her final SM-6, contrails slicing skyward. One missile finds its mark, detonating in a fireball high above. But another streak keeps falling, its trail, like a comet, pointed straight at the Reagan. Impact in 20 seconds. The carrier lurches hard to port, engines straining. On deck, crews push a damaged Hornet overboard to clear space. Flames lick across steel as another jet claws into the air, loaded for counterstrike. Below decks, sailors brace against bulkheads, jaws clenched. Rafael Peralta unleashes ESSM, then spins her CIWS to life. The rapid-fire guns hammer the night. Sparks shower into the sea as fragments rain down. But one hypersonic warhead survives, cutting closer, seconds away. Reagan's forward CIWS roars, tracers rip through the dark. Streams of tungsten tearing across the bow. A brilliant flash. The missile erupts, a shockwave slamming across the deck. The carrier shudders but holds. Cheers mix with exhaustion. Survival is measured in breaths. Then the sea skimmers arrive, low, fast, relentless. One dives toward Reagan's starboard. A decoy drags it wide, exploding harmlessly. Another is shredded mid-air by gunfire, showering sparks over the waves. But a third breaks through. Alarms scream. Sailors grip consoles. The missile streaks toward the waterline only to vanish in a thunderous blast as Peralta's CIWS rakes it apart at the last instant. The battle narrows to seconds and meters. Every hit avoided feels like a miracle, every gun still firing a lifeline. The horizon finally clears. No more tracks. The sea is littered with wreckage, smoke drifting into the night sky. The climax is brutal but decisive. The Reagan lives, scarred but afloat. Crews breathe again, knowing another wave could come anytime. And now it's your turn after all this. Who do you think proves stronger in this clash? Press 1 for the US or 9 for China and subscribe so you don't miss what comes after. 6, 10. The sea falls quiet, broken only by smoke drifting from burning wreckage. USS Ronald Reagan still floats, but her decks are scarred, her radar dome crippled, and entire sections below scorched from fires. Hundreds of sailors fight to keep systems alive. She has survived, but only just. For the US, the outcome is both relief and warning. The strike group held its ground. Hypersonic missiles were intercepted, drones destroyed, submarine torpedoes diverted. The Reagan did not sink. That fact alone signals to allies that American defenses, though strained, still hold under pressure. But the cost is sobering. An entire magazine of interceptors nearly emptied in minutes. CIWS barrels overheated. Crews stretched to exhaustion. The carrier that once seemed untouchable was nearly gutted by a mix of drones, missiles, and undersea threats worth only a fraction of her price. Each cheap weapon forced an expensive answer. Allies watch with unease. Japan and the Philippines see proof the US will fight, but also that the fight is harder than before. Insurance markets spike again, and traders whisper, if this is one night, what happens in a week of war? For China, the message is equally clear. They can hurt an American supercarrier, The Reagan is afloat, but scarred and slowed. Each adaptation stealth drones, sea skimmers, torpedoes tested layers of U.S. defense. The clash is no longer hypothetical. It's real, brutal, costly for both. The result tonight is survival, not victory. The Reagan sails on, but commanders know the next wave could be larger, sharper, deadlier. Logs tell the story. Forward array offline, power rerouted, one elevator jammed, flooding contained, smoke still bleeding from vents. Escorts tighten their screen, while medevac birds lift the wounded and tugs stand by. So now the question extends beyond the ocean. Who gained more from this fight, the US that endured, or China that proved it could wound? Press 1 for the US or 9 for China, and subscribe so you don't miss the next escalation.